Hello. Hello, hello. All right. So it's just easier for me to do a live than to try to do pre-recorded videos and upload it. So hey there, somebody's looking. Even if nobody was looking, it's just easier to do a live than to have to use about my room or my phone to do pre-recorded videos. But anyway, um, it's I feel like it's really time for a lot of us just to be selfish and just really think about ourselves. Um, there's a lot that I want to say. Hey there, who's that? Yeah, hello, hello. Um, so my last video, if you didn't catch it, I was talking about some things. I was talking about the movie Straw, and then I was went on and talk about another person who's a YouTuber and what's going on with her, and how I feel like it just comes a time where you have to just really pour into yourself because when nobody else is pouring into you. If this is the realization that I've come to, if nobody else is pouring into me, then I have to pour into myself. If I have to pour into myself, then I have to just be selfish and do anything that brings me joy. Like, if somebody say they need me for this and that, I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry, but I need to pour into myself. I can't worry about how much you need me because you're not pouring into me. I don't, and I don't expect people to do that, right? I don't expect, especially people who don't know me well. I don't expect that anyway. But the point I'm making is that it just becomes hard to be there for people when you're not being watered. It's this it's a text that somebody sent me. Something was going on with the grass. Something was happening with the sprinklers. Um, we turned it off when the owner of the house that I'm living in turned the sprinklers off for the winter. Okay, but then wanted me to turn it back on when it was time for summer to come. And I wasn't really sure how to cut the sprinklers on. Now the ones in the back wasn't working, but so I had to get that fixed. But I wasn't really sure how to cut the sprinklers back on because I never done it. And so he walked me through it. And the point I'm making that the grass was so brown because I'm in California and around this time it does not rain. I don't think it rained in like about a month over here. It does not rain like that, especially around summer, spring, and sometimes in the fall. It does not rain that much. The most rain that we see is like in the winter, maybe. That's about the most, but that's still not that much. And so, you know, I finally got the grass back to where it was green instead of brown because it was so dry and it was brown. It was just so dead. And finally got the water sprinklers back on, and plus I was going out to water it myself with the water hose. And so I showed the owner of the house a video. He's already seen the front yard. I want to show him a video of the backyard to let him see the green grass coming back and all that stuff. And the text that he left me was saying, "Oh, very good, because it's good that the grass came back in because when the grass completely recedes, right?" He said, "When the grass completely recedes from not being watered, then what happens is the weeds will come in." Weeds, weeds. He said when the water, he said when the grass completely recedes because it's not being watered, then that's when the weeds come in. And I'm gonna tell you this is what I've been going on with the last 3 years. I've had some weeds, and I'm not talking about. I had spiritual weeds happening with me in the last 3 years, and that's why I'm saying this. They don't just come out of anywhere. The weeds grow up because of something that could have happened, and it could have been the childhood that you're not paying attention to. And what happens is that whatever that is continues to grow, even though you don't think it's affecting you, it's still there and it still continues to grow. And then as you get older in life, it comes to hit you like a ton of bricks. And so when he said weeds, that's what really made me think of, some people are not being watered. Specifically, a lot of brown women. I talked about that movie Straw. Even though I didn't watch it, I can already see that lady was not being watered. The character that Taraji P. Henson played, she was not being watered. I don't have time for trying to be there for anybody else. I'm tired of the spell work that people are using on brown women, getting brown women to do everything for everybody else while she's not being watered herself. Like that guy said, when the grass recedes from not being watered, then the weeds grow up and they turn the brown woman into a bunch of weeds. Okay. But this is not for me to, just like stick up for brown women. This is something that I saw with myself. And I just say that I just really feel like just for me, I need to take off probably a good year just to travel nonstop. I need to take off a good year to travel nonstop from place to place. Even if it's going on cruises, whatever it is, I need to take that time off. And I need to get away from the United States of America. United States of America is really driving people nuts. Not only because of media and the propaganda that they continue to push, but it's also the radiation and the radio waves and all these different frequencies that they're putting out there. And it's driving people crazy. And I know you have people to say, oh, they can't stand to be around people. Oh, I just want to be alone. Well, some of us want to be alone because we just enjoy our own company. Like, I like to be alone because I enjoy my own company. No matter where I am, I don't want to be around a lot of people. But in the United States specifically, and it could be other places in the world, is that people are going to have gone crazy. People have gone crazy, but they're being made to go crazy. And so this place is just wild. Yeah. Hello, Brazil. Hello, hello. Anyway, yeah, but I just felt like talking for a little bit. Not much to say. Not much to say other than my mind has been made up to really just think about myself and just move on somewhere else. I literally think I need to get out the United States. Like for me, it's time to change up the dome. It's trying to change up the consciousness. When you move around, like you go places for like 3 months at a time and then go somewhere else and go somewhere else, it's like you change up the consciousness. You're moving from one dome to another dome and you're going into another consciousness and it kind of changes things up, right? Anyway, but I was listening to a lady that was talking about how your cell phones actually connect to your body, like it actually connects to you. Well, I've already seen that when I do meditations. I've already seen my consciousness coming out of my own tablet, and I've seen my consciousness come out of other people's cell phones and come out of apps. And my conscious. And one time I was coming out of my cell phone. I saw my cell phone. I saw like in my mind's eye, I saw a red light go off in my cell phone. Now I can't see it with my physical eye, but I saw it with my mind's eye. That some kind of alarm went off in my cell phone because I was getting to a certain consciousness, and my cell phone have some kind of alarm on it that it alerts when somebody is trying to rise up. It's time. I'm feeling like this technology is very abusive to the human body. I'm really getting to the point that this technology is abusive to the human body, and I'm gonna have to learn how to just go off grid. It's like, I hate it. But anyway, yeah, I just did a live not too long ago, like maybe a couple of hours ago. I did a live, I talked about SLL a little bit, Single Successful Ladies Live. And I follow. I've been listening to her since she had that channel before, when her name was called Successful Single Stay at Home Mom. I've been watching her since then. uh, but I didn't have anything negative to say about her. She's in a rough place in her life. A lot of people are giving her a hard time because they feel like she's been in this place for a long time, and she's like, it seems like she's stuck. It's really hard to just be what you think you're supposed to be because when you don't have support. And I get that people give her financial support. I get people to send her money, so that's a form of support. But it's like you need, I think, and I do too. Sometimes we need a whole lot of emotional support. And for brown women, I'm tired of having to always be strong and like, well, sometimes you don't get it, so sometimes you have to lift yourself up. I lift myself up all the time. I want to say this though. When you have dealt with traumas, and some of the traumas that you've dealt with, you don't even remember traumas, and then we deal with trauma on a daily basis. Just being in the United States alone, you're dealing with trauma. When you use your cell phone any kind of technology, you're dealing with trauma. All of this electromagnetic radiation, all this 5G stuff, all these cell towers, that the damage they do in human bodies, you're constantly dealing with trauma. It's constant trauma. And it gets to the point where if you are still some kind of a human, it gets to the point where you see this has just become too doggone much. It has become too much. And so, you know, yeah, it just becomes a point where you have to look out for yourself. But yeah, I want to just talk about that live I did. I think that last live I did, I was and it's titled the movie Straw and Other Topics. That's the last live I did. The title of it is the movie Straw and Other Topics. And I started to talk about the movie Straw and how I don't want to see that movie because I feel like I don't care if it's a great movie. I don't care how great Taraji P. Henson is. I don't care if it's Tyler Perry's best work. I feel like that movie is extremely triggering, and it's not a good thing for some people to watch if they feel like that's their story. I don't feel like that needs to be perpetuated. I think it's time for a new narrative, especially for a lot of people. If they feel like nobody has their back, they feel like they don't have support, they feel like they just on their own. That's not a good something that needs to be perpetuated in their consciousness. Uh, Especially when it ends on a bad note. Like I get the feeling that she might have died. Even though when I saw the trailer to that movie Straw, I had chills. I had chills when I saw the trailer to that movie. I had chills, and so I can only imagine looking at that movie how upset it might make me. And I don't know if that's a healthy thing for me to look at. Not right now. At the place that I'm in, that's not a good thing. And I don't have kids. I'm not a single mother, but the thing is, I do, however, feel sometimes where I'm kind of on my own, and so I don't like looking at movies where, somebody, all they needed was some help, all they needed was somebody just to care about them, all they needed was some compassion, and it ends on just taking this lady out and not helping her. I can't with that, because if I watch a movie like that, I'm going to want to unalive everybody in the world. If I see a movie like that, especially if she dies at the end and all they had to do was just show her some compassion, instead of showing her compassion, they had to unalive her. I'm going to want to take everybody on the planet out. Everybody on this plane of existence, I'm just going to want to take all of them out because I'm going to hate humanity. That's what I'm going to do. It's not even going to be about the brown woman. I'm going to hate humanity. So I don't feel like I'm in a good place to watch that movie. Okay. But yeah, in that last upload, that last live that I talked about, Single Successful Ladies Live, And I talked about, I discussed, where is Caitlin's father? Where is Caitlin's father? Um, and it's problematic that these men get away with just not caring about anything about their children. It's really problematic that they continue to be able to get away with it. If I was the Most High, if I was the Most High, they would all be judged. People that do that, that abandon their children like that, they would be judged. You know, I listened to her talk about how nobody in her family is helping her out with Caitlyn, but I'm at this point I'm hearing very little about her father stepping in. And I know it was some years ago where um, Successful Ladies Live was talking about how she wasn't really a single mother because she was getting help from the father. The father helps out, so she's not really a single mother. But a few months back, I think it might have been last year or something like that. A few months back, I saw Caitlyn, like, she was talking about her father, how her father don't want to really have anything to do with her, and she was in tears. So I feel like Caitlyn has a different story. She feels like her father abandoned her. She feels like her father wants nothing to do with her. And I think that, like I said, and I hold, I firmly believe that a person, people who continue to help to create children, and never want anything to do with them, and leave somebody else to just do all the hard work while they just go live their life however they want to. They should be handled. They should be handled. Um, like, something needs to happen. There should be repercussions for that. You know, it made me think of, like, when Rihanna did not want to sign a record deal, and she was told that you either have two options: either you're going to sign this deal or you're going to go out the window. So she had to sign a deal, and she probably had to sign a deal that was going to mess her up, do something to her spiritually. But she had to sign it, or else they were going to throw her out the window, according to her. And I say that because that's how I feel like it should be for some of these people that abandon their children. It should be like the case of that movie Straw, where where were the baby daddies when Taraji P. Henson was looking for care for her child, right? Where was the children's father? And that when that stuff happens, you have to go to that main house and say, look, you either have two choices: either you're going to go see about your child or go take care of your child, or this is the last day you're going to see the light of day. You're not going to breathe anymore. If you don't go see about your child right now, you either have two choices: you go see about your child right now, or this is just the last breath you're going to take. Choose. And I think that's just what needs to happen. I don't think people get to help to create babies, and they just get to walk away and nothing ever happens. There's no consequences, no nothing. They should go to prison. They should go to prison for literally. Now, I know people have different situations. I'm talking about the literal, real deadbeats. I'm not talking about people who's going through court drama and all that stuff. I'm not talking about some other stuff where people are battling, they're going through court drama, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real people who just do not care. They don't want to have nothing to do with their children because their own children try to reach out to them, and they don't even want to. They don't even want to have nothing to do with their children. And so I'm talking about those cases. Uh, they need to be put in prison. They should be put in prison for that. If you're going to want to lock somebody up for aborting a child, because now in some places you're not supposed to abort a child, and you lock people up, like they have a lady who's brain dead, like literally she's clinically dead, but they still have her carrying a baby because abortion is illegal. And so because abortion is illegal, you have this, I think it's in the state of Georgia, I think you have this lady who's basically in a coma, who's brain dead. Because abortion is illegal, you're still going to have that baby go to term. So you're going to have her on life support. Well, she's not even this lady is not even in her body anymore. She's going somewhere else. She's literally dead. But they keep her alive with machines so a baby can grow in her body. That really seems like it's inhumane. I don't know how people have any patience for this type of realm anymore. I don't understand the patience for it. I can see how evil. I can see the evil in that. You say that the baby is a life, like that's a life, but the woman is dead though. Like, how are you saying that the baby is a real life, but the lady is dead? The lady is dead, and so but they're gonna keep her. They're gonna keep her machines keep her going just so that baby can stay in her body, while the family has to keep dealing with the bill, right? Even though they're forcing her to stay on these machines because of that baby, the family has to deal with the bills. And if anything happens where they cut off the machines and the baby dies, then people are going to prison for that. But yet and still, you have a lot of these guys they're able to help create children, and they just willfully abandon their children, and there's no prison time for that. There's no prison time. They should go to prison. But anyway, I just felt like talking about that really quickly. Just felt like talking about some things, nothing really. I might be offline for like in the next few days. But anyway, yeah. How is everybody doing? Somebody from Brazil. Yeah. Who are you? What are we talking about? Oh, just various topics. Um, I'm gonna have to just up and I can't express how I feel like this man. I tell you what I've been dealing with. I've been looking at I listened to a lady. Somebody uploaded a video of a lady off of TikTok talk about how the cell phones and everything is like basically people are merging with the machines. People have already merged with the machines, and they don't realize they have already merged with the machines. Transhumanism has already occurred. Now, and that's what I'm saying. That's been happening with me for the last 3 years of what I've been going through. That is what has been going on with me. I can tell it's transhumanism. I can feel it. I'm constantly being like dealing with electronic harassment to the point where this is beyond shadow work. This is beyond shadow work. Something is wrong. And with that being said, I have made up my mind that I just have to get out of here. I need to get out of the United States of America right now. I have to get out of here. And I need to go to a place where there's not much technology. But, yeah, that's it, you guys. I don't really have anything. And so, yeah, that's it. And I'll just talk later.